can sit on my lap, but you can't sit there. You want to sit on my lap? Okay. There you go. There you go, sweet puppies. I don't know if I'm gonna have to hold this yet. I cannot tell. I am sitting in a weird position because my cat is on my lap. And I don't know if you can see her. I don't know if you can hear her. She's purring very loudly. Let's at least make sure this is recording. That would be good. Ow! Why the fuck did you just bite my hand? Should I turn this light behind me on? I'm upset about this setup because you're literally, what you're looking at is where my camera is supposed to be, and you're supposed to be looking at what I'm looking at, which is the set. However, I don't have the right lights. I forgot in purging everything in existence. I got rid of all of my, I'm sure I have some somewhere. I certainly got rid of every ring light. I'm sure I have some other, I just don't know where they are, and I don't want to figure out how to find them. So I have my cat jumping off my lap. Maybe I can now sit in a normal position. I don't know though. Is she about to open this door? No, she just slithered her little skinny self through it. I have a blanket because it might be 80 degrees outside, but I keep my home during the day about 67, and then at night it is in fact 58 when I sleep because I get night sweats. And I have since I was a kid. ASMR. Really sorry if you hated that, but I'm sure someone, probably at least one person liked it. Well, I could probably do a whole ASMR podcast. That would be very difficult. I don't love to whisper. I never whisper. Hold on, not sponsored. Let's not give them that. Although it's really fucking good. Ow! Sitting in my desk chair because my podcast chair is over there. I just hit my elbow really hard. My podcast chair is over there. Anyway, I didn't even open my window all the way, so it's not even as bright as it should be. But like I said, lighting not here. So we're using natural light, which means, long story short, this is an ugly backdrop, but it's the other side of the set. Oh my itchy eyes. Oh my itchy eyes. I am back from my trigger point therapy appointment, and I just got off the phone with my second attorney that I currently have, and then followed by a phone call with a detective who I had to call back. So I feel as though it is deserved that I talk about something light, or at least to just talk about whatever the fuck I want for the next 30 minutes with no notes or plan or general direction in which I would like for my thoughts to be guided. That was worded so in such a strange way. Don't you think that I deserve that? Don't you? My barn having burned to the ground, I can now see the moon. I don't know if you can see it. I'm feeling not self-conscious about it, but honestly, maybe the light is triggering it at this. I just was speaking Spanish in my head and then out loud trying to speak English, and I was thinking en este momento, and I said, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna wear these and see if it helps. This patch of dermatitis that I have on my goddamn eyelid, I don't know what she is from. I got her for the first time 2 years ago, around the same time of year, and it was the year that I moved to Orange County. However, I did not get it last year, but I've tried all of my natural remedies. I do believe firstly, I have MCAS, so I do be getting random rashes, and sometimes I will get a polymorphous light eruption rash like once or twice a year from the sun, but this year it has been happening a lot. I think I've resolved that. However, this patch of dermatitis on my eyelid, no, and I've tried all my natural remedies. I do believe I'm allergic to the environment in which I live, aka some sort of weed, some ragweed, some bush. I don't know, because it didn't happen in LA. It didn't happen in LA. And it didn't happen last year in Newport. But it does seem to happen in Orange County in general. However, I don't know what it is, but it's gotta be. Because when I do believe I'm allergic to the environment, but when I become president, I will ban all fragrances and also sodium lauryl sulfate and also a lot of other things, to be clear. But as it pertains to my dermatitis, I will stand firm in my stance on fragrance. We don't need it. We don't need more things that disrupt our adrenal glands. I certainly don't. I can't even walk into a goddamn fucking Home Goods. Not that I want to ever, but I did recently in my search for a 16-foot rug, of which I did end up finding not at Home Goods, but on, I believe it was rugs.com, which would have been a good place to start, but I didn't. I think a bunny just ran by outside my window. Anyway, back to Home Goods. I could not be in that Home Goods for longer than I was going to say 7 minutes. It felt right. It's the number that I like. No, it was less than 3 minutes. All of the fragrances, all of the endocrine disruptors, I don't know if it's because they have an exorbitant amount of candles, probably. However, this was a TJ Maxx Home Goods. And if you know anything about those, it usually starts with the TJ Maxx. So you're not even walking right into the candles section. I believe it was in the back of this particular TJ Maxx / Home Goods, in fact. So that is how sensitive I have become. I have always been, but when you are not living a life free of poisons and toxins, things don't affect you as much. However, when you've been living a couple years as granola as they come, truly, the only thing between me and pure granola is these goddamn fucking implants that I am getting very close to just taking into my own hands. No pun intended, but also maybe. Not to mention that the left one is ruptured and slowly, I'm not even going to finish that sentence, but I digress. I have no plan for this episode whatsoever. Do I normally have a very well thought out plan when I podcast? I don't even know if anyone can answer that because I have been so goddamn inconsistent. Something that is consistent is my camera turning off every 11 minutes. Why are you red? Why is my mic? Hello. Why did my mic just turn off? I see, it's a good thing I have my computer. I was gonna have no laptop, no anything in the frame, just to, I don't know, prove that I'm not looking at notes, even though it's quite apparent. But it's a good thing that I just noticed that because my audio stopped working. So I don't have a plan, but what I do have is dermatitis on my eye and also a really weird lump nodule on my neck. It's actually on my sternal. Anytime I try to say this word, I don't, but my SCM. Well, it's kind of to the left of it and to the right of the tattoo that I have of my ex's name in Persian. Yes, I called it Persian and not Farsi because that doesn't make any sense to call it Farsi if I'm speaking English. Anyway, I have this weird nodule there, and the guy that does my trigger point therapy told me it is a tendon off of my SCM, and I had a 90-minute session with him today. Honestly, he is changing my life and my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and period, end of sentence, but I was worried before I saw him today. I was like, why do I have this mysterious nodule? That can't be good. It's near a lymph node. Help me out, sir. Is it a fatty deposit? Is it a lipoma? Apparently, it's just a rogue tendon that is inflamed because all my shit be fucked. An autobiography. Oh, in other news of things that are on my body that shouldn't be, I have had this pinguequela. Is that what it's called? I might have just made that up. but something in my brain tells me that was correct. Now I need to look it up because I can't be out here looking stupid. Penguin. I was right, first of all. I said it completely wrong. I said it like it was a Spanish word. It's a pinguecula. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Pinguecula. In my eye for, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years now is when I noticed it. It's not that noticeable, but it's basically like on your inner eye to the left of my iris on my left eye, so closer to my nose. It's like this, like mine was not as bad as like if you look it up what it looks like. Mine was only really noticeable to me, but it's like this white tinged with yellowish bump on like your conjunctiva, like your eye membrane, right? And I believe it's usually caused by like UV damage or like, I don't know, maybe like chronic dry eyes or like chronically getting shit in your eye, which I want to say that's probably what mine's from, is like always having shit in my eye, or the fact that I have the world's most sensitive eyes and they always hurt when I look at the light. I don't know. It could have been UV damage, but I digress. It's not like a problem, although I did think back and think, wow, it has felt like I've had something in my eye for the past 2 fucking years. Anytime I'm driving, and I notice it a lot when I'm doing Patreon videos, because when I'm doing Patreon videos, I'm usually driving. And that's the only time that I'm like driving and talking out loud to myself, because I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to my patrons. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, it always like there's something in my eye. Is there something in my eye? There doesn't look like there's anything in my eye. And I do think it was the pinguecula. Anywho, did you hear that pop? That's Ehlers-Danlos, baby. Audio check. Good, we're good. So I noticed randomly yesterday she was gone. And by the way, there is no way to get rid of it unless it's like harming you to the point that you want it surgically removed. And in fact, I just lied, because that's what it says when you research it. There's no way to really get rid of it. And bitch, I'm here to say yes, there is, okay? And I also don't see anyone talking about this except for when I Googled it, because I don't use AI. The only time I've used ChatGPT was in 2023 when I was making, I don't know if I ever published that YouTube video. Also, it seemed like it was so much different back then, probably because it was new and I don't know. I hate AI, and I think it's ChatGPT, and the fact that people use it is so scary. But anyway, I was Googling this because I noticed it and I wanted to see if I was correct in my assumption, and I found only in one place in a YouTube comment on someone's video about red light therapy and its benefits. I have had red light panels for a very long time. I have red light masks. I have 2 red light full body masks, mats, like full body mat. One of them I've been using and it's actually changed my life. I'm not kidding. But unless something is in front of me, it's not there. It doesn't exist. And I have everything organized so goddamn fucking well. All my masks and devices in, storage ottomans and benches and trunks and such. And that's great because it looks spick and span over here. It looks minimal. But the problem for my brain is that means that it doesn't exist, so I don't use them. However, a couple of weeks ago, I hung up one of my red light panels in this room on the other side of a cabinet where it's pretty much hidden, but if you like close the door, whatever, it's not important, and then you pull up my stool, I can sit there in front of my red light panel. And I started doing that, and I did it for 10 minutes 3 times when I noticed my pinguecula. What a beautiful name for a child, by the way. Add that to things that are pretty names but mean something different. Pinguecula, gone. And I wasn't staring into the red light, by the way, but I was also not using goggles. I've never used goggles. And you know what? And then I started thinking, like, wait a second, why did this just happen now? Because there was a phase when I was at my last home where I was using my red light mask 4 times a week probably, and it just for 5 minutes, whatever. I'm like, hello, that's because there's literally cutouts for the eyes. all of the masks, all of the devices, they all have eye cutouts. And if you have panels, they come with really ugly sunglasses and they say, hey, wear these. But then you start researching it and it's like, wait, but they do use short-term red light exposure to help with eye health and sometimes cure glaucoma, cataracts, just macular degeneration, and like they're using this, probably not in the United States, or if they are doing it, they're not talking about it, to treat that. And por qué no los dos? And by that, I mean, it probably healed my pinguecula. And there's probably not a lot of literature on it, not just because they be hiding shit like that from us, but also because I bet a lot of people that have pingueculas and that happen to do red light therapy didn't maybe make the connection or even notice it or know what it was. I mean, you usually notice it if you have one, but I didn't know what it was for the first year. I was like, okay, my eye has a weird thing on it, whatever. I wasn't taught about this in school, so there's not much literature on it, but I'm looking it up and I see that someone made a video on red light therapy and the benefits, and they're talking about skin health and eye health, and someone's like, I used this red light therapy panel and my pinguecula vanished. And then there's other comments being like, oh my God, the same thing happened to me and I didn't put it together. And I'm like, this is why red light is so good. Anyway, not sponsored. Although I will link the panel that I have if you're interested. I do make a commission, and because it's on Amazon, it's about 1.3%, I believe. You literally make pennies from the Amazon commission program, but I digress. I will link it for your benefit. And this is not medical advice, I guess I should say that. But that's my experience. Yesterday, I booked a flight. Actually, I booked a round trip, which I never usually do. For whatever reason, my brain likes to book one-way trips, and it's not because like, oh, I don't know when I'm gonna want to come back. It's like it makes it seem cheaper, but you know what? It's not. It's always more expensive to book separate one-way trips. Anyway, I booked a trip on my birthday, around my birthday, a 5 or 6 day trip, I believe, to Maui for my birthday. A solo trip, because if you did not know, last year on my 31st birthday, I shipped myself to, where did I go? Did I go to Honolulu? I think I did, because it was my first time on that island. It was supposed to be a solo trip. My ex ended up coming. It was the second time we had ever seen each other, was in Hawaii. Our first date. I did not like him. I actually have a video on my phone of me crying afterwards. I don't know why. Don't ask me why I allowed Hawaii to happen. Please don't. I will cry. But I considered, because this is what it was. The hotel that I stayed at emailed me and they're like, hey, it's been a year. Come back and get 30% off. And I'm like, let me go rewrite history. Let me go rewrite that trip. Okay. I had things planned. I was going to go surfing. I was going to go to this one specific national park that is supposed to be like a vortex, whatever. I didn't get to do any of that shit. Honestly, it was like the worst trip ever. But I was like, I don't really want to go back there. I don't want to have any like memories resurface. And I'm like, I'm going to go to Maui. And then I was like, fuck, I actually brought a different ex to Maui, but I'm not going to stay at the Four Seasons in Maui as we did. I think that was in 2022. And also it was, I mean, that was a good trip. It was whatever. But I'm like, oh! Sorry for the hand weapons, the ninja. That's on being insympathetic. Whew. That's on my camera stopping again. That's on my nervous system. That happened so fast, I just accidentally ignored the call from the detective instead of just silencing it. But it's okay, he can wait. I'm podcasting and this is important, and it's hard for me to lock in on things. And I'm currently pretty locked in, so he's gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to solve the clues on your own, sir. You're gonna have to do your job, sir. I don't know I don't know what that accent was. Please do not ask me. Where the fuck was I? Oh, Maui. That's right. I'm shipping myself to Maui for longer because I think I only went to Hawaii for like 3 days my last birthday and it was awful. I'm probably gonna stay in some sort like some I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you where I'm staying. What the hell? I'm excited about that and I'm excited to do that and I love that I am doing that. I was going to say something negative about money and the fact that I'm just spending my money as if I have, a month left to live. Take it back, universe. I was speaking hypothetically. Please do not take any of what I just said seriously. But I'm worth it. I don't even know what the point of that was, but I'm excited to go to Maui. I'm shipping myself to Maui. Knock on wood that I won't meet someone on September 18th and they end up coming with me. Just kidding. That won't happen. Someone that lives in Miami is coming to visit me next week, though. I don't think I was podcasting at the time when I went to Miami. I definitely wasn't. I had just published my Substack article when I was there. We're not going to talk about that. Although I will say, speaking of being inconsistent and actually the reverse of that, I've been very consistent on Substack and I'm actually so happy. And I love writing and I'm so happy that I'm doing it again. So that'll be in the description if you want to read some of my words as well. Look, I framed this jean pocket and I'm gonna hang it in my entryway and I'm gonna put like, I don't know, like sunglasses. Right now there's like a random chain in it. That's not gonna stay. Ta-da. I've been doing a lot of artistic things. Oh, hello. I've been doing a lot of artistic things recently. It's so weird because I have created so many new neural pathways in my brain recently and I feel almost like I'm a different person not really, but like my brain operates so much differently than it has and in the best way possible. Like I can't even convey enough to you. And I don't want to talk about serious things on this episode. Not that it's actually a great thing. And I will talk about thoughts that I have and what I've done and yada, yada, yada. But I just want to say it's so weird because my brain works in such a different way now than it has in years. And it's really cool. And it just goes to show that like you can reprogram your brain. It's entirely possible. Tell that to a man who says, this is just how I am. Although also just leave that man because he's a fucking idiot. I think I'm in love with Kerry Washington. A few weeks ago, I started randomly watching the show Did I just speak English? That was weird. I started watching Scandal. Actually, what happened is I turned my TV on because the only thing I use my TV for is to use YouTube and to play, I don't know, like 16 to 48, depending on my goal, hertz and binaural beats to accomplish various brain states that I would like to achieve. So I'm doing that and I was going to go click on YouTube, but I went into the kitchen for a second and then my TV started autoplaying like a Netflix preview. And for whatever reason, it was Scandal. It's not like it's a new show. I remember like my parents watching it when I was in high school, I think. Anyway, I come back to my living room and I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, I love her face and I just want to look at it. And since that day, I almost every night when I'm home watch an episode of Scandal. Kerry Washington, I like her face. I like to look at it. It's so fun to do. And then I realized that this feeling that I'm describing about like liking to look at her face, which obviously means like I think she's so gorgeous. It's more than like she's gorgeous though, because like I can think that about so many people, or I can think a man is handsome, but it's different, okay? But this specific feeling of liking to look at someone's face and like watch them talk and whatever has only ever happened with women. And like because I felt this way the first time I can remember right now, at least, is when I was like 5 or 6 and I saw Mila Kunis on that 70s show, and I was like, whoa, I like to look at her face. I would like to look at her face. But then my parents were like, you can't watch this. And then I felt the same way in the summer before 6th grade when I went to LA, or we went to Disneyland, I guess, with my mom and her brother and his daughter, my cousin. We went to Anaheim, went to Disneyland, and then I guess we went to LA, and we went to a taping of, firstly, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Celebrity Edition. The celebrity was Billy Bush. Fast forward, I don't know, 14 years to me being interviewed by Billy Bush on, is that E? Extra? Whatever the fuck, with my ex, and having to say things and save face because whatever. Circle of life, am I right? Anyway, we did that. But then they were like, there's this taping for a show, a Disney Channel show, but it hasn't come out yet. And it's a pilot. And I had the same feeling then about the girl in that show, the star of that show. And guess what that show went on to be? Because it actually had a different name at the time. The name that they told us was like, dude, I can't even remember. But it wasn't Wizards of Waverly Place, which was what the show ended up being. And I felt the same way about Selena Gomez. I was like, wow, I like to look at her face a lot. I'm trying to think who else I had this feeling with, or who I have this. Oh, when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9, and watching, before my mom got home from work, Secret Lives of, I almost said Mormon Wives. No, Secret Life of Pets? No, what the fuck was that show called? Secret Life of American Teenager? Whatever, Shailene Woodley. I also had that feeling with her face. And they're all stunningly gorgeous, but it's something more than that. And it's not even sexual, I don't think. I don't know, it probably actually is also, but it's more than that. Their face it pleases me. I'm sure there are other people, but those are the 4 that are really standing out to me right now. And I've been watching, like I said, an episode like almost every night, and it has not worn off yet. I love looking at her fucking face. It's so nice. Should we talk about Lindsay Clancy? Because I have thoughts. No, we're not going to talk about that, actually. I take that back. You know, the only thing that I enjoy doing is learning, researching, stuffing my brain full of new knowledge. But I am tired of knowing things. And that is the tragedy of my life. The other night I was leaving the gym and I cried with gratitude because my heart felt so warm. And it's funny because this has been like the worst year ever. But that's how much I have changed my brain. And it's 4:57, which means the detective is going to leave in 3 minutes. So I actually should call him back. And it's probably good because my camera's going to stop recording any minute now anyway. And so I'm sorry if this was short, but also, I don't know. Subscribe.